Hey guys, we are back live again on the Very Opinionated Show. This is your boy Jay the I Am with the Miss Gorgeous Snow and Max Amelia. Come on, everybody, y'all say something to the people.
Hey everybody, it's good to be back on the show. It's been a while since we did a show, so I look forward to what we have tonight to talk about.
Come on, Miss Gorgeous Snow.
Good evening, everyone. Long time no see, but now we are all back full force and we are ready to discuss our subject of tonight, which is very touchy subject. Tragic stuff is happening around us. So we're going to give you our opinion and then we're going to look forward to hear your opinion on that. And hopefully down we can make one more of these because the project is very big, very broad, and it requires a lot of attention.
All right. Tonight we will be discussing suicide in America. And we know when we talk about suicide, it's a real touchy subject because I know it's more high in the teens, and that's pretty much my area that I want to hit on with the teens as well as preteens. Of course, adults experience those setbacks and those tragic moments. But before we get started, I want to give a brief definition of the word suicide, and it kind of gives a broad spec, but what we already been talking about and what my opinion guess was, and suicide is the act of intentionally causing one's own death. Mental disorder including depression, bipolar disorder, autism spectrum disorder, schizophrenia, personality disorder, anxiety disorder, physical disorders such as chronic fatigue syndrome, and substance use disorder, including alcohol, use of drugs, and so of that nature. But Mr. No, I want you to give me your definition of what do you think suicide means to you?
Suicide is never easy to hear. When you hear that somebody commits suicide, then you have a million questions about it. Then they're gonna go unanswered because we really don't know what happened in the person's head when they did that. Unfortunately, I've been talking to family member who committed suicide minutes before he did commit suicide. He told me that he had no hope for his future. He didn't see it bright. He didn't see being able to move from the position that he was in, which is no financial stability, no job, no any type of support, no any type of anything. And then after the Civil War, he was just a young kid, and poverty, severe poverty, really knocked him down. When you don't have your own car, you don't have ability to buy your own car, you don't have ability nothing, and on the end, you don't even have money to buy food,
30
and
seconds.
that that was it. You don't have anything, and he told me that he does not feel that his life can change for better, and that he think that his best decision was not to live.
Wow, come on, Maximilian.
Mm, well, suicide is always a loss. It's always a death of somebody.
Correct.
It's always a loss of a person. Now, it could be your neighbor, it could be your best friend, it could be your spouse. You never know whom or what time or when that's going to happen, but it happens, and when it does, most people don't. I tend to have a lot of questions as to why that person did it. However, most people who do ask those questions, never really have a hindsight to really look at
Right.
and think of before. What was your interaction like with that person? Could you have been able to make a change in their life? What could you have you done different? Could you be a better friend, a more supportive spouse, a loving, you know, friend? Could you be, a lot more things? And that's one of those things where I think most 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 people will, most of the questions will go to is, oh, what could have we done, instead of, after somebody just, commits suicide. And that, I think those are the important questions that we need to ask ourselves now, so that we may actually help prevent suicide or the loss of somebody in the future.
All right. You know, that is, and you hit all the right questions because it can be various uh information uh that one, maybe don't want to share, it can be shame, and they just figure, I'm guilty of as charged, and maybe don't want to share that information, and they, decide to take themselves out. But I mean, let us try to look at it from a perspective of, I want to say, uh, is it more rapid in poor uh, communities, higher than those who have higher income? Because for me, it's uh, it's a real touchy subject when it run broad like this. I mean, like I say, suicide is one of the things that we do not like to bring up because, of course, family members or someone close friend that we may know that have committed that act, and I just believe, in my opinion, uh, and it just all depends on the circumstance. It's like a act of selfishness, instead of try to work it out and try to work through those issues, and basically just open up your mouth and say, "Hey, I need help." Um, I mean, I mean, it's like I say, it's real touchy. But come on, Snow, and give me some more input on this subject on tonight. We are talking about.
The reason why we say it's a broad subject is the questions that they leave behind us, and the sorrow and grief that people grieve after they lost loved one.
Correct.
Yes, we can ask ourselves, what could we have done? But then we have to ask ourselves, was there anything that we actually could do? Was there something deeper, different, completely, like something that maybe people are not aware of? Maybe people who deal with depression, when they don't even know that they deal with depression because
Right.
they've never been diagnosed. And I would love for our health system to be changed with the emphasis to allow people who need counseling, who need any type of help for that fee, not have, to be taken care of by our government and our taxpayers' money. So actually people know that there is a help, because guess what? You tell people you need help. They know they need a help. They know they need to see professional, but then it comes that cost with it. If you are already
Correct.
struggling, you
Right.
cannot spare $150 per session because it's never only one time. That's
Okay, but
something that you need to talk about and go through, and it takes so many sessions, then people can't afford it.
right.
And
But
automatically they cut themselves down, like I can't do that.
let me ask you this. Let me just ask you this, because apparently we, uh, the people in America, really do not take mental healthness seriously among the American people, because like I said, everybody is not at a high status when it comes to income and everything like that. Because let me just quickly read some numbers to you about what they said in the difference between those who have higher income than those who don't. It said the estimate. Now this is the global suicide statistic. It said the estimate suicide is 300,000 people die by suicide worldwide each year. Now I can bring up population control on that part, but that's a totally different other subject. It said over one in every 100 death, 1.3% in 2019, were the results of suicide. And it said the global suicide rate is over twice as high among men than women. Come on, Maximilian, expound on that.
Uh, well, why is it exactly that it's twice among men than women? I think I guess we could speculate. There's various studies that we can look at, and different research papers and studies over years that we looked at, and I think it kind of comes down to just to the pressure that maybe men are feel or feel may feel that the society brings upon them that maybe pushes them further
Or
than
is
women.
it or is it they created pressure that they done that, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think it's both. It's both.
All right.
Oftentimes, there are several factors that make up that actually kind of play in the development of human mind. From birth to fully grown adults. There's so many different factors
Right.
that may affect a person. And we can even kind of dissect that down and split it in several different groups, however you want. Economic, political, social,
Right.
uh, financial. We could look all of those
60
particular.
seconds.
We could look at all of those little. I guess
Right.
they're all like individual subjects for themselves. So, but it's interesting that across all of them, you will have people that commit suicide. You can have somebody who's really rich and powerful and commit suicide. You can have somebody
That is true.
who is a middle class and commit suicide. You can have somebody who's poor and commit suicide.
Correct.
And I think that there are a lot of socioeconomic factors that play in that altogether with mental illness and mental health issues. And oftentimes people don't necessarily talk much about it, but a lot of times even mental health issues can be inherited in a sense.
Wow. Wow. Okay, hold your thought on that one. Hold your thought on that, because that was a good point that you brought up. Come on, Miss Gorgeous Snow. But let me just shoot these numbers at you first before you comment next. Here in America, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death. In 2019, here in America, 47,511 people committed suicide. That was 2 years ago. This is look like it's the numbers is before the COVID. In 2019, there were an estimate 1.38 million suicide attempts. Now, look, that's a lot of numbers of people attempting to die. We're talking about over 1 million people. Only 47,000 actually succeeded. Come on and expound on those numbers.
Okay, I do have to mention what Maximilian said, that yes, the numbers of suicide in males are way higher than in women. And there's a reason for that. And I'm going to tell you the reason is why men commit suicide is when they cannot how would say, there's a lot of expectations. If they cannot meet that expectation, what's expected from them, then society put a lot of pressure on men. You're expected to be father, to do this, to do that, and then when they find themselves in predicament that they cannot meet the, these requirements, or like how I would say,
Right.
please everyone in a sense, that's when they decide to end their life because they can't be what is expected from them to be. Unfortunately, the surrounding doesn't allow us to be who we are born to be. There's a stigma, then we have to be what is like some sort of predicted behavior. We have to act in this manner. We have to do this. You have to take on this. You have to. I mean, I don't know who made those rules and stuff, because each of us is individual and each of us have to meet certain needs, and those needs are different for
Oh,
each of us. And
okay.
this
Okay.
is why I think so many of them turn into drugs, alcohol, and then the desperation, that feeling of worthlessness. I'm not worthy. I can't fulfill everything that's expected from me, so I'm here.
Okay. Watch this. This is my really, and I'm kind of like not piggyback, but at the same time to kind of like expound on why men. I think this is just my opinion on why we make, because it's a lot of, like you said, it's a lot of pressure from a man perspective, especially a responsible man, because he has to be the breadwinner. He still got to be the father. He got to be the husband, the lover, because he can't perform in bed. It's going to be pressure, because that may leads to uh, a breakup or a divorce. And I done read over several articles where the husband and wife got divorced, for whatever reason, and the wife moved on. She got a new man, and he come and kill her, the new guy, and himself. Now, I know that sounds like murder suicide, but is that the pressure you talking about, or is it a different type of pressure? Come on, Max. I'm gonna let you expound, and I'm gonna go back to Miss Gorgeous Snow.
Well, to expand on what you just said is, I'm gonna use an example. For some, it might be, it may kind of help him understand this, but for some it may not. Think of us, every single person, as an individual, as a blank canvas,
All
just
right.
a blank canvas, and we are the painting. We become the painting, which every stroke of the brush of a different color that we put on, the way it's put, the way the shapes are, the way we create shapes and images, and all of
Correct.
that plays in and cinches in to this canvas. And now we have this canvas that's like amazing piece of art. And then you have this canvas that just seems so very dark and gothic and weird and makes me feel a little cold on the inside. And then you have another that's kind of mixed. You have mixed feelings because this is not your best painting, but this is not your favorite painting. It's somehow
Right.
odd.
Right.
And I think that's how um, that's how we we are created. That's how our mind is developed and created. And it's all of what how much people put effort in disciplining and raising their kids the right way, installing
Right.
right value, showing them the right things, the love, the acceptance, the care. All of those factors play an important role in creating that wonderful painting that is on a canvas. However, this particular example leads me to the point that I wanted to make, and I will make it right now. I don't know how many of you heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You can Google it, whichever search engine you use, and it's going to
Right.
show you a pyramid. And I actually have it here as for the notes, because I was like, I just wanted to bring that up. I thought it was very interesting. So you see this big pyramid, and it's all divided into parts from the bottom to the top, and down at the very bottom, it's it's considered physiological needs. They're at the very bottom. Now we take another step up, and there's safety needs. We take another step up, and it's love and belonging. We take one more step up, and it's self-esteem, and we
All
take
right.
to the very top, it's self-actualization. Now I'm actually going to go through every single one of those points and how they actually affect us, because Maslow's theory was that if one of these categories is not met, you cannot fully function as a person. There's
Now
always going to be
that's deep there.
emptiness. There's going to be that discontent. So at the very bottom, under physiological needs, they include breathing, food, water, sleep,
Right.
sex.
Basic, the
Those are the
basic stuff.
basic. They're the very basic needs. They're at the very bottom. So if none of these things, or one of the few of these things, is missing at this very point, the question is,
Right.
how can you go further up on a ladder, on a pyramid? How can you focus on the other needs when the very basic needs at the bottom are not met? Now we go to take a step higher, and it's considered safety needs. So it's about security, safe job, employment, health. Those
Correct.
that's the security we want, we need as people. And if we don't have that safety, it's a very difficult place to live it, because that's also that that is the second building step of the pyramid. And if you're missing that, you still have an incomplete pyramid. So we
So
go a
so
step.
without that limit, without one of those, and it sounds like for the second one you just said, it's like that's the majority of America now without a lot of jobs due to COVID. Come on, keep expounding because I want to hear more because I got some
you,
stuff. I want to get Miss
you
Snow
could
in too
say,
also.
you could say that we live in a very kind of unpredictable time where safety is very important for everybody, particularly for
Correct.
a great majority of people who live from check to check. Man, it can be very scary, frustrating, depressing, all kinds of things. So we take a step higher on
Right.
this pyramid, and the next step is love and belonging. That means friendships,
Right.
families, sexual intimacy. Those are all the things that are very important, that make us feel loved,
Right.
cherished. Those
And
are
kind
the
of
things
complete.
that kind of make you feel good on the inside. That's one of those
Right.
things. It's kind of like a social thing in a sense.
Correct. Correct. To keep us going.
Exactly, but that's also very important for us to function. The love is very important, to be loved, and to love to be loved by our family, by our friends,
Right.
by our significant one. It's very important. So we go a step further up, and that step is self-esteem. It's concerns of its self-esteem, confidence, achievements, respect. Those are kind of one of those things where the things that build up your esteem. Are you in a sport? Are you a competitive person?
Right.
You have
Right.
a certain goals that you want to meet. Let's say you want to run Olympics, and you have all these goals that you need to set up. So that's part of the self-esteem that makes you feel good about who you are, what you do, what you love. And now at the very top of the pyramid that completes the pyramid, now let's say you had all these points that I emphasized before: physiological, safety, love, and belonging, and esteem. Let's say you have all those met. Now, at the very top is self actualization. And what is self actualization? Well, it's acceptance of facts, problem solving, morality, creativity, and spontaneity. Now, if you have all those previous points fulfilled, that will allow you to create the self actualization and to develop those most important, I guess, at the very top. of the pyramid skills that are important, that are actually valued by our society the most, if you think about it.
Right, right. Now I'm gonna bring
So
Miss Snow in. I'm gonna bring Miss Snow in to respond to those real good answers and respond. But you know what? I'm gonna say this here. I cannot, me personally, because everything you said was on point. I have to bring in spirituality because I cannot function without that self spiritual balance, because that's what, like, okay, you may be doing too much, you need to bring it down and stay level headed. Now come on, Mr. Snow, I want you to expound
well,
on what Maximilian said. Hold on for a minute, and I'm gonna come right back to you, Max.
okay.
Okay, so everything that you mentioned, it's right on point. But I think so many people get damaged from the early age. So as soon as we start with that social life, supposedly having the friends in school and everything, that's where kids and bullying. That's when if you're good at something, suddenly somebody starts saying that you're not worth, then you this, then you that. People start saying things, and when they start repeating those things year in, year out, for as long as you're like in that in middle school or whatever, then that damages your self-esteem later on. That damages it, makes you question your worth. That surrounding around you, so there's many young kids then start using drugs and everything because if they tell somebody they've been bullied, everyone's going to be like, well, you have everything good at home and going on, just ignore. But as much as we like to ignore things, they're more deeper than we think. And among teens, that's one of the factors. Then they start closing and don't talk to anybody, and don't discuss things, and start to struggle on their own, and maybe start using some over-the-counter medication and self-medicating and feeling ill and missing school, and the end results in because of what people in school said. It they laugh at you, they did this, they did that, and way down, then you kind of not accepted, and many of them decide to end their life because of it. So at least I think some more than 90% of population has one of these in a pyramid that Maximilian mentioned, then it's missing. Even love and feeling loved, if you don't have two parents, you had one-sided love. And so I can go on this subject, because it's all broad. There's all kinds of things. We've been rejected in our relationship. We can't meet for expectations of our partner. That weighs down on our self-esteem, on our confidence, on our everything. Safety. Security, because you feel, oh wow, I can meet his expectations, he might leave. That's going to devastate me. That's going to do this or that. It's a lot of psychological things that play. Even maybe we think they're small and significant things, but they can play a lot in it. As a Jane mentioned that you having like any type of with your partner, some things then you think you lack of or something, and it wears down on you. There's so many different things that I can mention, but how do we prevent our youth from being suicidal and suffering in silence and not being able, because at that age they don't even know what's happening to them, their body are changing, they're becoming adults, puberty hitting, all kinds of changes, then you can't explain to your body why you're feeling that way, mood swings, everything. And on the top of that, you have to deal with everyone around you, at school, at home, at gathering, or practices, whatever it is, whatever it might be. So it's a lot.
Come on, Max. Finish telling us
I,
what you was gonna
Well,
say.
I agree with everything that Snow said, but I just wanted to make a point when you said that spirituality is very important to you. Well, actually, spirituality is actually part of the self-actualization in order for you to meet in order for you to reach that spirituality point, all the other points truly need to be met. Because the way we function, the way people are, we are very animalistic in a sense. You know, we
Correct.
need to
Correct. That is
have these
correct.
things to feel good about ourselves before we can focus inwards. And it's interesting. I guess just so many cultures have been actually practicing that we need to focus on physical possessions and degrees and cars and
Correct.
money
That's the
and
pressure.
all of these us feel good about ourselves. And trust me, money does. You do need money to be happy, to have some peace
Man,
in a
man
sense.
made it that way.
You
Yes. Yes.
know,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's a thing. People say money doesn't buy happiness. Bullshit. Yes, it does. But
I agree.
it, it's very important, for us to not be neglectful or
Right.
to really look at ourselves, look at each of these categories and think, well, maybe I'm this way because I am missing some things in my life, and what can I do to change? But that's just kind of light summary of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and kind of like
Correct.
how that
Right.
applies to every single one of us. Now, as to particular subject that we're talking about, which is suicide, I do kind of have an idea of maybe what we can do to, I would say, prevent from or help in the future, maybe prevent somebody from committing suicide, and that comes with acceptance and understanding, meaning you have to be accepting and caring person, and show that through your actions. And once you do that, people are going to, as long as you make people feel comfortable around you, you are providing them kind of like a little cocoon, little safety net. No matter what's going on, if you show yourself to be accepting and caring without prejudice in a sense, but just be accepting of them as a human, oftentimes you realize that people will open up to you. They will talk to you about anything and everything, and it's about showing to people that you are a trustworthy person, you are a good person, and you're not a judgmental person. And anything that they do say in front of you or want to talk to you about is confidential in a sense. You want to project that type of feeling with people, because if you do, there is a chance that people may tell you some things that are bothering them, in which you may be able to help them, or prevent them from committing suicide or committing a crime, or any of those nefarious things that one might think of doing. So it's kind of important, acceptance and willing to listen to people, willing to listen without judgment. That's I think that's one of those things where every single one of us can work on. Every single one person that's watching this can work on. Every single one of us individually can work on. And that's kind of what
No,
I wanted to tell
now
everybody.
let me ask y'all both this, because, and I know it may be brought up, maybe someone is sitting at home trying to, answer a certain question. Now, I'm going to bring this because I'm a licensed ordained minister by trade. Listen, do that person or doom or damn to hell if they could take their own life? Come on, Snow. Or is that just a man myth to put fear into the heart of the masses of the poor people or just people in general?
Oh, you should not have touched that one with me. You know that I strongly believe
Oh, here we
whatever
go.
you can find. Yeah, here we go. Here
Here
we
we
go.
go,
I'm going to give
Maximin.
it to you straight. Yes,
Well,
church has created hell and heaven. In reality, it does not exist. And for the purpose of control, installing fear is you are going to be fearful if you think then you're going to be burning for eternity. I don't think so. However, people who commit suicide, if there is any type of heaven, there's that heaven must be full of sadness and tears. That's all I can say, because whatever it is that they went through, they couldn't handle it by themselves. And as we mentioned, I have to add to it why men commit more suicide than women. Also, one more factor. Lately, as we know that, hello to all my LGBTQ people. Yeah, I hear you. I see you. Many men were, even still to this day, kind of um look really bad upon if they come out as a gay versus women. Women are kind of slided by, kind of, it's not a big deal, but the men, it's huge deal. And that wears on one's self-esteem and well-being and everything down really heavy. Heavy, that rejection, that, then you didn't do nothing wrong. You just express how you feel, and here you are, condemned. And also that religion part pay into it, then you're gonna go to hell
Right.
or this or that. I think so. The what we experience, it's a hell on this earth.
All right.
Ugliness of the people in the hell, and making people miserable. They do commit suicide because of our actions around them, against them, laughing at them, whatever, calling them names, nicknames, assuming things and labeling them. Everybody else like, ha ha, look at him, this or that. That's the hell that they experience, and that's the hell that they cannot handle. If we are
Wow.
not accepting and leave alone everybody to live in peace, you know what? If nobody's harming nobody, just leave people alone. They have rights same like everybody else. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. That's none of my business. If you're a good person, I'm here for you, to help you, to talk, to cry with you, whatever the hell it needs to be done. I'm here. I'm here to listen and everything else. So, I always sad to say there are people who still don't see way out, and there's no sources in certain countries and everything else, but in here we do have
Correct.
it. And I
Right.
encourage people to reach out, and we need to do more as a society to create more of those. Then they might don't have to pay to have that counseling, have somebody guide them through whatever they're going through, and steer them into direction, finding really professional help that will help them, even in a form of medication, even in the form of social life or something. It's got to be some ways to get people to feel then they've been accepted, then they've been that they feel safe around people to open up and talk about things and address things and deal with things on their own.
All right. Let me ask you this, Max. Uh,
Hmm.
because I had my way of how I deal with my depression when I was younger, and I had my moments right after college. Uh, of course, anybody that know I played ball and not making it to the NBA like I wanted to. Uh, of course, I had my brief stint just being on the practice squad. But however, you know, we didn't know what it was. Honestly, I would tell you, I didn't even know what it was. I just know I felt sad. I just didn't want to get out of the bed. I didn't want to do nothing. I didn't want nobody to bother me. I just wanted to just stay at the house. Uh, Later on in life, yes, I understand the word depression, and I kind of dealt with it in a different way uh, than others. Uh, I would never say I thought about suicide, uh, but I did thought about just just being by myself, just permanently, not to bother nobody. Just let me just be one of those loners, you know, work back home. Let me go and just have no type of social life. And just to me, that itself, it seems like suicide because you cutting everybody off. So I had to, had to rechannel my energy to get back involved in life, and I say it that way. And I believe one thing I want you to answer for me. Uh, do you think that that number is higher in the teens? I would say community, other than rather than the adults. Uh, Come on, give me your opinion on that.
I can't really say that I've read statistics, or I kind of have like a legitimate source that I could look at and base kind of my opinion off on. But so I'll go ahead, just tell you this is my opinion.
All right.
I think for the past decade or so, I do believe that there has been a significant rise in suicides in the teens as well as in adults. I do believe that there has been a significant kind of like rise in, and I think I'm not necessarily sure there's the one particular factor that can be that it factor that we can point to and say this is exactly why people are committing suicide. Excuse me. I don't know what's going on. I cannot say there was like one contributing factor. I think it's a mixture of your own mental health, the state of mind that you're in, combined
That's a good point.
with your surroundings, as well as kind of in general the content that you expose yourself to throughout social media, throughout networks, what you ingest, so to speak. I think it all plays a big part, and I think with technology rising up, and it's definitely made us less patient in a sense, and it's made us less human, so to speak, because we're we as people, we crave communication, we crave face to face, the touch, to feel. You actually, an average person, any person pretty much needs at least two human touches like this throughout the day to feel balanced mentally, in a sense. And what is it exactly that we do? Most people actually turn to technology for entertainment over anything else. I've seen people go to park to play with their kids, and they let their kids play while they're on the phone the
Right.
entire time.
Right.
And I
Right.
think it has created a discord of people. Our attention spans has become very short, so we don't necessarily pay as much attention to the people we talk to as we used to. We're not as engaged and compassionate. I think we're kind of slowly, those senses are kind of being dulled by the technology that we use on a regular basis. And I think that,
That's the key word, technology. I believe.
you know, I believe it. I believe that's one of the contributing factors why we've become, and I think society has become so polarized and so intolerant, where any video that's like less than 15 or 30 seconds, your attention, you can't really pay attention anymore. And that's the process of that, like, training. In a sense, we're trained almost that our attention span has become so short that we cannot really focus on a human contact, on a human conversation as we used to. And I think that's one of those reasons why it's become so cruel. The world feels much more cruel because
Right.
these
Right.
senses, they're not exercised on a daily basis. We need to
Right.
feel, touch, smell,
Right.
hold.
Right. You're so
We need to do
correct.
all of those things, but yet we trade most of our social interactions with actually social media. And I think
Correct. Correct.
that could be a detriment in itself. So, and this is just my opinion, man. If people in general would deviate from social media in a sense, or at least using maybe 1 hour, 2 hours the most throughout the day, and the rest spend on tasks that you need to complete, spending,
Woo.
communicating with people, actually being there for your kids and paying attention. I
Yeah,
think
that now for the
there would be
kids, yes. Yes.
there would be a lot less
Right. It
violence,
would. It
a lot
definitely would.
less suicides. And this is the thing, though. Excuse me. It would actually foster a more safe environment in a sense for, let's say, kids who are gay to come out, and for their parents to actually be more accepting of them in a sense,
Right.
because
Right.
that's what I noticed. Like, and I have some gay friends, and this is the thing, though. As a straight guy, I don't know what it's like to be gay. I don't know what
Right.
you know.
Right.
I'm not even gonna say that I understand. All I can say is, if you're my friend and you're gay, hey man, cool. If you choose to come out and tell me, for me to be the first person to whom you tell, hey, I'm gay, that's cool, man. I'll be there to support you. I'm not gonna hate you. And I don't
Right.
understand why people hate on their kids or disown their kids. Why? Because they're gay.
Well, we know that
Dude,
don't even make. We know
that's
that don't even make no sense. But you know,
that's pretty
yeah.
messed up. And I
Well,
think
for your own kid. Look, we have reached the 45-minute mark, and I'm going to bring in Miss Snow to respond, and then we're going to close out. Come on, Miss Snow.
Well, my response to what he mentioned, that technology, well, this is the thing. Why maybe number being in rise with a teen suicide? They had opportunity 2 years ago to go out and socialize. We put a mask on their face and locked them up in a house. How much more miserable you could be? Now you bullied online. Now you only social life is technology, the cell phone. So we cut down even possibility of kids and teenagers being out there shooting ball, going for walks, sitting, exchanging whatever, chasing Pokemon. Yeah, that was a thing like a few years ago, going and chasing Pokemon. but they were out there doing something, right? They were not just on screens. You can see the true emotion. Only thing you can see
Correct.
when a mask is on, it's a fear and anger. You cannot see happiness, you cannot see smile. So we need to unmask our kids and now more than ever support them. Also, I wanted to just say young kids were hoping to get their job, get out of the house, teenagers, whatever, do something. And the COVID stopped that.
And it
They even
truly
fired
did.
people who had jobs. Now, not even teenagers working those part time jobs like they used to make themselves useful and
Correct.
earning some sort of side money. Now they're totally locked down in the house.
Right.
And,
That is true.
with even freaking virtual learning. So, really, as Maximilian says, no human contact, no human interaction.
Yeah.
And
At
that's
all.
what makes me
Yeah.
sad. And that adds up to their stress level already
Yeah.
and
That it.
expectations and everything
Yeah.
else. And I know the highest number of the teens incarcerated. All of them want to end their life because they can't help their mom. They've been the oldest brother in a house, and now they can't get a job. They can't do this. They can't do that. And the frustration is just heartbreaking.
I just believe that this is the times that we are living in is just totally different. Look, we have reached almost the 50-minute mark. Uh, we are going to close out. I just want to quickly say, quickly as a disclaimer, is that everything we say is based on our own opinion and viewpoints. We are not licensed counselors. We are not giving anyone professional advice, and we suggest to reach out to a professional if you have any suicide thoughts. This is the Very Opinionated Show hosted by Jay the I Am, the Miss Gorgeous Snow, and the fan favorite, Max the Million. We're glad that you had joined us tonight, and we hope that you'll chime in and leave us some comments. And also, let me give a quick shout out to the Quality Life podcast with Messiah Boss and Raw T. Hope them guys continue to do great things over there, and y'all keep pushing it, Information need to get put out, and of course, these things need to be talked about. There's a lot of hurting people as well as a lot of hurting teenagers. They need someone to just talk to, and for them, someone to talk back to them and to give them advice and push them in the right direction. Uh, this going to call it tonight, guys, and it's been a blast and a blessing. Come on and say something to the people to come out, and Max and Snow. Come on, say something.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed our show tonight. I hope that some of the things that we talked about maybe can help you in one way or another. Hopefully, in the most positive way. If you heard something that resonates with you, that's what matters. For me, that's all.
Come on, Miss Snow.
Well, thank you guys for watching. Please comment and tell us what you think about tonight's show. And I know we have not touched all of it, we just scratched the surface, but thank you if you enjoyed the show. And yes, absolutely. If this can help you and encourage you in any positive way, we're more than glad to be of help. Otherwise, please seek professional help if you're dealing with anything, and please don't be ashamed. There's no shame in reaching out for help. Your life does matter.